Live from the Score Atlanta television studios in North Atlanta, this is Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. I'm your host, Nigel Wilkes, along with Craig Sager. We have a jam-packed show for you guys today. Should be a lot of fun. We'll start off, obviously, with North Forsyth Gymnastics head coach Kamdyn Radake and her team. We'll get into our fast break headlines as well, and then we'll do a slow pitch softball bracket. Follow that by a pre-recorded interview with Pilar. Obviously, he's talked to Hayden Barnett and also Week 10 girls lacrosse rankings. But without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome on North Forsyth Gymnastics coach and her team.
Hello.
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
Hi. Good.
Appreciate you coming on, Coach. Definitely means a lot to have you guys here today. Just talk about this team. I mean, they're very special. You guys just won your third consecutive Forsyth County championship. Just talk about the great girls that you have in the screen above.
Lots of great girls. Only this year, we actually only had 5 total return, and we had 7 new gymnasts come onto the team. So it's been a great kind of start to that and kind of see how that team's been working together to do so well this season. We have a few really awesome returners in the middle: Logan Otteson, Alina Alameni, and Carson Cudless. They've done a great job kind of stepping up this year, especially with a lot of new girls, and getting everyone to work together and just kind of leading the team. So.
For sure, Coach. And then I just want to ask, obviously, you said so many left. You talked about your leaders this year helping the young girls. Just what was your message to them as they were still, obviously I know they've played the sport before, but just as they got acclimated to just this varsity level and being able to compete at a high level?
I think a lot of them are leaders just naturally, like they come by it naturally. They've been in gyms their whole life and been some of the older girls or been on a team, so they understand that team setup. I think coming into this season, they knew last year we took second at state, and I think they knew just how close that we were. And so it was something they had that internal drive to want this year to be the best that it could be. And then we lost all seniors, and we don't have seniors this year. So it was very important for them to step up. And I think they knew that, and they were just kind of ready. It wasn't really much that I had to do. They were willing and ready to step up.
And then can you just talk a little bit about your outstanding player, Logan Stinson? She's obviously been phenomenal so far in her career. Just what makes her such a special, player for this program?
Logan is very determined and willing to do whatever she needs to do. She puts in 100% effort. It doesn't matter if we are having a practice or warm-ups for a meet, or even at the meet, she's going to always put her best foot forward, and she's just extremely determined. And she has a drive for the sport, and she loves the sport. And I think that she also has a really good job at having fun with the sport. She doesn't take it too seriously on times that it might feel so stressful. And I think that's really helped her. And she even helps the team talk about how much fun it should be and how to have fun. And so she leads in that way as well.
And then I just want to ask you, how cool is it for you being a North Forsyth alum, being able to come back obviously home where it all started for you, and just being able to coach so many great girls and really leave a lasting impact on their life?
It's very cool being back where I went to high school. It was something that I was not expecting to do. When I went to high school there, we didn't actually even have a program. So it's so cool to see how much the school has grown. But it's also really cool just to see how much the school itself supports our team now that it is established, and just kind of see where that's going to go. I definitely see a lot of emphasis on athletics at North now. And I think that is in itself is a lasting impact, because sports give you so much as far life skills and understanding how to work with others and how to be determined and how to want things and work for them. So I think that being able to be in that role and kind of help these girls see all of the great things that sports can do, especially gymnastics, has been really cool. And I've been really excited to be back and to be a Raider again.
Absolutely. Coach, I want to ask you about last season and then compared to this season with the current ratings. You guys have 110.317, very high score. A lot of teams have high scores. When you had that runner-up finish last season, what do you think it takes to be able to win that state title in the state of Georgia? And maybe what event have you seen an improvement this year, whether it's the floor, the vault, overall team depth?
I think last year's second place finish really kickstarted like the drive for this year. And just like we felt how close it was and then we just really wanted it. So that's been something that's been really big. I said before that we had a lot of new gymnasts this year. Two big scorers for us of the new gymnasts have been Caroline Owen and Ansley Ferguson. And that has just, they didn't fill holes, but they just brought a different like dynamic to our team. So the last season to this season, I've seen a really big jump in our beam scores. Just overall, that's kind of an event that I've been able to count on this season, pretty much every meet. So that's been really great, and as well as floor. So floor and beam have really stepped up this year, and I've seen a lot of improvement in our team scores through that. But again, having Ansley and Caroline along with our returners, I think just has created a well-rounded team.
And then what's it like coaching a younger team that maybe this is their first varsity season where, I mean, they're going to have to lead the charge, and then just preparing them for maybe the unique atmosphere at state?
It's fun because there's no like rule book set yet. There's no like previous expectation. We're new, we're figuring it out. We're trying our best. And I think that that's been such a blessing just to not have to be, we're not trying to be, okay, they've already done it, so we now need to do it. So it's kind of giving that open, fresh perspective and just openness altogether. So there's no right or wrong for how we're doing things. We're just figuring it out. And I think that that also has given the girls a lot of opportunity to step up and be leaders. And that goes for every single gymnast on my team in different ways. They've been able to figure out how they want to approach high school gymnastics. And if you ask any one of them, they think that it's a lot of fun. And I think that's because we've just been able to create like a fun atmosphere for them to excel rather than being so strict and so serious, because we are new and we're just having fun.
Yeah, and I mean, gymnastics, it is a fun sport. Obviously, they love doing it, but there's so much pressure on it also. So it seems like in order to have fun, you have to love the pressure. So, I mean, how does this team embrace that? Just going out there, having the spotlight on them, knowing that they have to fulfill their responsibilities to help the team.
They do very well under pressure. I think this year's county meet was a great picture of that. We had our highest team score of a 112. And even just before the meet started, we were all talking as a team and they were all saying like, I want to win. Like we need to win. So they just have that drive. And, and I think that there was a few of us even at the county meet just being like, okay, we want to win. That's great. But like, let's have fun. But they understand the pressure that comes along with the sport. And I think that a lot of what they need to do is like they're mentally preparing every week. So it's one of those things where it's like they have to be in the right headspace. And so they've done a great job at getting into that right headspace and really taking the time to prepare both physically and mentally. So I think that's been a big key thing. And they understand when the pressure's on and they are happy to rise to that challenge.
And then you talked about some of the events you guys have scored well in this season, but people that are going to go watch the state championships or the state meet, they haven't seen all the weeks of preparation. So, I mean, how much time is put into these routines just on a weekly basis and just with this season from what we're going to see at state?
Well, they spend pretty much every day or night in the gym, especially with their club teams, working on things, working on routines and skills and upgrades. And so they're working nonstop. They are constantly asking how to improve, what skills to add, how can we make this better, how can I score a little bit higher. So they are taking the time every week. I would multiple hours in the gym, just trying to decide like how to be the best. And that's, I think, where a lot of their drive comes through, is just trying to figure those things out. And also a lot of them like are very willing to change the routine, to add a new element, to add something that's going to maybe help them score a little bit higher, to work an upgrade that's going to increase their start value. And they've just done a lot of preparing and trying to get there.
And then real quick, you're talking about the club team. you have gymnastics, but also cheerleading, and competition cheerleading is so huge in Forsyth. There's so many just talented programs. It's very active. Do you feel like this is kind of the premier region within the state of Georgia for where gymnastics and cheer is taking off?
I think that there's a lot of great gyms in Forsyth County and near Forsyth County that have really helped foster such great high school atmospheres for both of the sports. I think that, and then also those gyms work really well with us to, help these girls be as successful as they can be and to help them reach their goals. So I think that partnership too is something that's been really big, of just every high school in Forsyth County practices at a local gym. And so those partnerships are crucial because we have those girls practicing for their club, but then they're also practicing for high school. And so finding that common ground, I think, has been really helpful for both of the sports.
And then a kind of final question, just what do you guys have coming up just in terms of me? I know you guys obviously have the county championships. Just what's next for the program in terms of where you guys will be competing?
So as of yesterday, we qualified in the #1 seed for the preliminary meet next week on Wednesday. So we will be competing in that meet with the hopes to continue on to state, which is next Friday.
There we go. Well, Coach, I want to say thanks so much for coming on and telling us a little about your great group at North Forsyth. Wishing you guys nothing but best of luck moving forward. And thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Thank y'all. All right, guys, coming up after the break, we'll get into our fast break headlines. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys in just a bit.
Great teams are committed, focused on the details, and work hard to be their best. From practice to games, right down to their gear. Your field is a critical part of the game that allows your athletes to showcase their athletic abilities. Sports Turf is committed to bringing your team innovative sports surfaces with unparalleled performance. You bring the vision. Our team brings it to life.
This makes my dad proud. He went through his whole career as an employee. Now I'm the employer, something he didn't achieve.
We are signatory to IBEW and do IBEW people wherever we go that we feel like they are faster and better than any of our competition.
The advantages of being a signatory contractor is you're trained employees. You have unlimited manpower. It allows me to bid on jobs that I ordinarily would not go after.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Man, you know how to do this? Man, I don't even know. I was flipping burgers last week.
Violation, unsportsmanlike conduct, impersonating a craftsman.
Skilled trade unions are well-trained career pros, not part-timers. Construction is a rewarding and lucrative career with the advancement potential, but you have to do it the right way with the right training. Learn how you can be a pro. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Electrify your career.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. So now it's time to get into our fast break headlines. But before we do, we'll just talk a little about the interview we just had with Kamdyn Rick of, obviously, North Forsyth. Just, Craig, what's your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, so we've now had, in my opinion, the two best programs this season. We had North Oconee on, now North Forsyth. North Forsyth has never won that state title, but they've been very close. Buford's been dominant, some other teams, and it used to be a one classification state champion. So now North Oconee, they've scored the highest in this Class 4A through single A, and as of yesterday, I think 110 was the highest score. North Forsyth was 110.317. The fact that they had that 112 score in the county meet, that is definitely enough, in my opinion, to win the state title. And it's also interesting what she was saying with the beam and then the floor as being a strength this year. when Buford has had their success, I've been to probably about 5 of these state championships, and Buford's been pretty transparent that the beam is actually what they consider like their weakest. They're really dominant on the floor. They've got great vault. So I feel like if they can make up ground in that area, they've outscored Buford. I think Buford's at 106 this season, the 5th highest. I just think I really like their chances if they can score that 10 or a high 9 score in the beam with that depth. And then the fact that this is such a young team could be the start of them establishing themselves as a new powerhouse in the sport. But also the amount of gyms in Forsyth County, and then when you look at competition cheerleading, South Forsyth, Lambert, North Forsyth, West Forsyth, they have all won the most state titles. That's where competition cheerleading's, I feel like it's the hugest. And so you have a lot of girls that start really early, and some of them fall in love with gymnastics, some of them like the cheerleading aspect, but really it's just really popular. And I would put that Forsyth, North Fulton area up with anywhere in the Southeast, maybe even the country.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously some great talent, and like you said, it's all culminating together, and North Forsyth's having another really great season. Like you said, in contention for that title in 5A, 6A.
Yeah, and that's the point. That county title, I mean, they are going up against the same exact teams they're going to be going up against at state. If they have a good preliminary meet, I think she said that was coming up this week, then the state championships next Friday. I feel like it's exciting for a young team, and being able to chase that first one, it would really be special.
100% agree. All right, guys, now it's time to get into our fast break headlines for today. We'll start with Travis Hunter Jr. He got his jersey retired by the Colorado Buffs. Hunter became one, if not the most honored player in college football history last year, being named to the Consistence National Player of the Year by winning the Heisman Trophy, Walter Camp Award, and both the AP and Sporting News Player of the Year honors. He was also repeated as the Paul Hornung Award, Most Versatile Player, while winning the Bednarik Award and Low Impact Trophy as National Defensive Player of the Year, and the Blinton-Clough Award as the best receiver regardless of position. One of only 3 college football players to win 8 major awards, he was also a unanimous first-team All-American, earning 7 first-team and 8 overall honors from 5 publications the NCAA uses to determine unanimous and consistent honors. He is the first player in the history of Walter Camp All-American Team, the nation's oldest to earn 2 first-team honors, and is the first known player to earn 2 first-team and 3 overall honors on the AP team. The other publications, 3 only mentioned at 1 position.
Yeah, well, what I think has been so special about Travis's time at Colorado is just, I mean, the sheer excitement, but it's just the heart he plays with. Some of these big plays, I mean, they had some wild games this last season. Very excited. Him, of course, coming up with that games, not only game-saving, but game-winning turnover and recovery. That's one of the best plays you can imagine. I mean, the team's coming into your end zone. You think they're going to score. Not only do you get the stop, you clinch the game with the turnover. That's the Heisman play. We saw him strike the pose a couple times last season. But then just doing it on both sides of the ball, I feel like he could run for mayor, he could run for governor in Colorado, probably get it. So that's going to be an inspiring thing just for anyone that suits up at Colorado, knowing that Travis Hunter, obviously quarterback, also had their jerseys retired, but just a special player to come through that campus. And as he continues to build his football legacy at the next level, he will be representing Colorado.
Yeah, 100%. I think what I was most impressed, just there's a lot, I don't know if you remember, Craig, but we went to Jackson State. Right. Coach Prom leaves for the Colorado job. And everybody's like, well, what is Travis going to do? You know, Miami, I think, was interesting at the time. Will he go there? Will he follow Coach Prom? And I'm glad he did, because I think he got the most out of his career. Obviously, he's been the headlines were just saying, hey, I'll stop playing if the NFL team doesn't allow me to play both ways, obviously, this past week. But I love just how he's standing on that and how Coach Prom really allowed him to just flourish in that. Because not all coaches are going to let you play both ways. At college, come on, man, who do you think you are? Most people will say that. But I like that Coach Prom allowed him to really hit the pinnacle of his career. And I think even in NFL, he's going to reach higher heights. But I think it was super cool to see him develop in that kind of way. We always knew Craig, he was a star in high school. He was dominating both sides of the ball when he was here playing for Collins Hill. But just to be able to see him at this level, get all these awards, all these honors, the Heisman, and so many more things and be considered one of the top picks in the draft, I think it's exceptional.
Yeah, and in high school, I mean, to have double-digit interceptions, double-digit touchdowns, doing it in Gwinnett County also, leading Collins Hill to the state title. We knew that he went up against stiff competition in Georgia. We knew he was going to be a great college player. But what impressed me about him, things weren't necessarily easy for him at Colorado. I mean, there was a lot of hype. There were highs and lows. There was a roller coaster at first. But for him to just kind of lead them with his effort on the field, he plays with so much heart and just confidence. He's spectacular out there. Being able to win the Heisman last season, it's a lasting legacy at Colorado, and it's going to be very exciting. I think just him now being able to represent it just after a short time, but a special time at Colorado, it's going to be huge, and there's going to be a lot of Travis Hunter jerseys in the stands now that it's not going to be on the field, though.
Yeah, 100%. All right, guys, let's go to headline 2. Wendy's Player of the Week was Jackson Vaughn after a great week from him. In a must-win region matchup against Denmark, Jackson had 15 saves, and he had a PK save, a penalty kick save, with 5 minutes left in the second overtime to keep the score at 0-0. He made 2 more saves in the PK shootout to secure the victory for South Forsyth. Shout out, obviously, to Jackson Vaughn. Great job by him. All right, headline 3. Walton Raiders have 3 players hit the transfer portal. A great story here with Craig. We know how good these players were. They were on the state championship runner-up team. Jeremy Heglinski hit the portal from Wake Forest. Tight end Hunter Teal from Miami of Ohio. Hillgrove defensive back Emery Floyd. North Cobb running back Benjamin Hill and defensive back Elijah Lee all made announcements this week that they're looking for a new place to land. A few weeks ago, also, Craig, you had Wendell Gregory also hit the portal as well. We know what Jeremy Heglinski, how good he was. Obviously, in high school, he was obviously 7A Player of the Year. For what he was able to do, Hunter Teal was considered one of the best tight ends in the state at the time. Wendell Gregory was a 4-star prospect on the edge. Just what's your thoughts on all the movement from the Cobb products?
So I just want to say something real quick about Jeremy Heglinski. So after that tough, heartbreaking loss to Milton in the state championships, I went to Hunter Teal's graduation party. It was the first time I had seen them since then. And the first thing Jeremy said to me when I saw him, he said, Craig, we're both Walton alum now. So I thought that was pretty special. He knew exactly what to say. So I feel like he was always prepared to be that college quarterback. This is a situation at Wake Forest, though, with the coaching changes. I feel like he was in line, though, to play in year 2 or year 3. He still has the 4 years of eligibility left. He's a Gatorade Player of the Year. He led 7A, spectacular player. I think the question is where he's going to land. People see what's going on at Tennessee. They say, is he good enough to go there? I feel like with a year he's already spent in college, he needs to go somewhere to play. It's not uncommon for teams to even transfer more than once, but I really hope he finds the right spot. He has a year of college under his belt. He saw time in the spring game last year throwing 3 touchdowns. And then you look at Hunter Teal, who was his go-to target all those years. Do they potentially end up together? I think the odds are pretty long for that. But, I mean, Hunter Teal, we talked to him about Miami of Ohio,
yes,
how when they wanted to recruit him, they were talking about, like, you're the piece in this offense that you bring that versatility at the tight end position where we can run a lot of different looks out of it. I felt like that was a perfect fit for him. So it's going to be interesting, but both of them, in my opinion, that's what interests me the most, where they end up, because I feel like they had a lot of confidence that they were making the right decision, but then things change and they're in the portal.
And stuff happens, obviously, Craig, too. So, guys, we'll be back with more after the break. We're going to conclude our 2 fast-break headlines and then get into a softball slow pitch bracket. No, you're good.
So what's the third one? Yeah, slow pitch. Yeah, we can hit the 2 headlines and then conclude with the slow pitch. Because it's not like a big bracket. It's like 16 teams, so that's perfect. Jonte Cook hit the portal. Jonte Cook.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is presented by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Transform your future today. And by Smart Local 85. Sheet metal is a smart move.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. So now we're going to wrap up our final fast break headlines and hit headline 4. Craig, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so this what I said was the biggest matchup that I was looking for in Class 5A. It was pretty much a region championship 2-game series between Villa Rica and South Paulding. Each of them were 11-1 in Region 5, Class 5A heading into this. Last night, that was the first game. We'll have another game tomorrow at Villa Rica, but South Paulding was able to take the 10-3 victory. That is South Paulding's 10th straight victory, and it snaps a 4-game winning streak for Villa Rica. The thing that's interesting is how is Villa Rica going to respond? They had shut out 4 straight opponents heading into this game, only had lost 2 games all season, their season opener, and then 1 loss to Alexander in a 2-game series. But 10-3 is a pretty solid result for South Paulding, but also the most runs that Villa Rica has allowed. So that'll be a big game. The thing is, if Villa Rica is able to respond with the win, they will have identical region records, and so then it will probably go to a tiebreaker based off something like the run. So losing 10-3, that is a 7-run differential. So Villa Rica is really going to have to come out strong in the matchup tomorrow. But that was a big win for South Paulding, 2 very talented teams within Class 5A that also, of course, has Loganville, Pope, Houston County, and then South Paulding actually after the series will play Woodward Academy, so another top 10 matchup to close out the season. But 10 straight wins for South Paulding, a big win to open up that series. Shout out to South Paulding. All right, headline 5, another baseball story. Oconee County's Cole Johnson rises from an underrated prospect to a UGA baseball commit. Georgia baseball head coach Wes Johnson pointed down the right field line, nodding as a bold number stamped onto the outfield wall at Foley Field. He says, "You see that right there? It says 314 feet. That's not very far for a left-handed hitter, right? This is what I said to Cole Johnson. Big guy, we think you're going to hit a lot of home runs over that fence." That was the conversation he had when he extended the offer. Cole Johnson was originally committed to Georgia Tech, but Oconee County obviously is very close to the campus at UGA, and now he's getting that opportunity. He says, "Now that doesn't mean you're always going to get in the box and get the hit," said the Bulldogs coach. "It doesn't mean you got to get up there and hit a homer. You just got to show me that you can compete and have a good approach, and that this game is not too fast for you or overwhelming." An hour and a half later, hands were shaking, the vision was clear. Cole Johnson was going to be a Bulldog. And what the coach said was Cole Johnson has that natural ability to, what he says, contribute immediately at the next level. He's a very mature player, understands the game, and has the power, and he will be going on to the Bulldogs.
Congrats to Coach Johnson. I mean, what a great story, obviously, Craig. I mean, just shows you just continue to, put the right foot forward, and it'll eventually pay off. Obviously, getting the UGA, who's a very good team this year, played Georgia Tech here recently in baseball, one of the top teams in the country. Yeah, and just it's got to mean so much to him to be underrated, and knowing that program is sort of right down the road from him, and now to be able to go there to play on the next level, it doesn't get better than that. For sure. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into some slow pitch softball with the ladies. There we obviously have a bracket that we're going to show you guys, but the top seed is Richmond Hill. They emerged as the #1 seed in the power rankings used to determine the tournament seeds. The Wildcats view the seeding as an honor and are eager to test themselves at the state level. Here's what Coach Gray had to say about being #1 seed. We play in an interesting area where our regular season is not as competitive as what we're going to see over the next 2 days. Gray said being the #1 seed is something we strive for. Most of the competition is up in North Georgia, so trying to get people to come to us and make room in their schedule is kind of a feat, said Gray, whose school is located near Savannah. So that will be an interesting team to watch. You also have Craig Creekview that can become the first repeat champion since Haralson County in 2018. They also became the second school since 2017 to win multiple state championships in slow pitch softball, joining Haralson County, who won 3 titles, 2017, 2018, and 2022. And obviously, Craig, we cannot forget about the Jefferson Dragons. They were so close last year, lost 11-10 to Creekview, but they are back in the postseason as the #5 seed. They will be interesting to continue to watch outstanding pitching that they have and obviously outstanding batting as well. They're going to face North Oconee in the first round. The potential of a state championship remains probably unlikely, but could see potentially Creekview and obviously Jefferson down the line.
Yes, and this is a very exciting, fast-paced tournament. It's held in Woodstock, so it's today and tomorrow. It's not like the Columbus one where you got first round, second round. This is going to be very quickly. So we actually already have results. It started at 11 a.m. today, and so teams have gone to the losers bracket. But so far, you mentioned the #1 overall seed, Richmond Hill. They beat Woodstock 17-6. So Woodstock was kind of playing in their own backyard, but they were the number 16 seed, and Richmond Hill handled business 17-6. They will now play Elbert County in the next round. Elbert County won 20-6 over Colquitt County, the number 8 seed Elbert, number 9 seed Colquitt. That will be at 2 p.m. on field 1, so they'll have to turn around and play again. You had Creekview, the defending state champs. They shut out Savannah 22-0. In slow pitch, that is very hard to do. The ball is constantly in play.
Yep.
You've got to be quick defensively to get the shutout. That is a very strong sign for Creekview. Great way to open up as the defending champs. And then they will now play Jefferson. That was last year's big state championship match where Jefferson actually won the first game and then had to, I think it went to extra innings, and then Creekview came out, responded, and took the next one. I think they won that one by several runs to clinch the title. But you will have a rematch. That will be at 2 p.m. today. Creekview and Jefferson. Jefferson was able to beat North Oconee 19-0 to start things off. So 4 results in so far, and all of them just a ton of runs by those teams that won. So you got Richmond Hill putting up 17. They're going to play Elbert, who put up 20. You got Creekview 22-0 winner. They're going to play Jefferson, who won 19-0. And then of course it's not over for the teams that lost. You're going to have Woodstock and Colquitt County will play in the losers bracket at 3:30 today, and you got Savannah playing at North Oconee at 3:30 as well.
I think that's incredible, Craig. A big statement by Coach Bailey and obviously the Jefferson Dragons. I mean, putting that on Norfolk County. It was a pretty good team this past year, but obviously you can tell that they're playing with a little bit of an edge, 19-0. A lot of runs, and defense shut them completely out. I thought that was one of the most impressive results.
Yeah, I mean, in slow pitch, it's just like that's what the coaches were talking about. It's a completely different game than fast pitch because the ball's going to constantly be in play. You just have to be very quick. You got to have arm strength throughout the defense. You got to make sure you're playing the bases smart, getting out of jams, and it will be interesting to see this Creekview-Jefferson matchup because Jefferson returned a lot of talent from last year. They've been motivated by how close they came, and then you got Creekview that being able to put a statement like that up in the first round as the #5 seed, I feel like they probably should be a higher seed, but it's not going to matter too much now, and then they'll be back on the field at 2 p.m.
For sure. Can't wait, obviously. Hope you guys enjoyed this segment. Coming up after the break, we have Pilar Razi with Hayden Barnett, an exclusive soccer interview, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys in just a few moments.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all, the advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.
A journeyman with Local 85, when you turn out, you can be hitting six figures.
Hey, I have your back, you have my back. We're gonna do this together. We're one for all for one.
College just wasn't for me. Let's look into actual career jobs that wouldn't take college, where I wouldn't, lose money and all that. Instead of losing a lot more money at the end, why not make money and make more money at the end?
What happens after you graduate? Will you go to the next level? Will people have your back in the heat of the battle? Will you still train like a champion in pursuit of greatness? You will when you become an IBEW electrician. Join our team. Visit IBEW613.org.
Welcome back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily Show. I'm Pilar Rossi, and today we'll be talking 6A girls soccer. Joining us is none other than Hayden Barnett, senior midfielder at Brookwood and the engine behind one of the most dominant teams in Georgia right now. The Broncos are cruising, boasting a perfect 15-0 record, and they're after their first state title since sharing the 5A crown with Parkview back in 2003. The team is currently ranked number 8 in the nation and number 3 in the state. Not only have we seen several shutouts from standout goalkeeper Bailey Gloss, but the offense has also been on fire. Leading the charge is Hayden, a 2-time 7A All-State selection, 2-time Region Midfielder of the Year, a national and world futsal champion, and a Division I commit to Troy University. She has 36 goals on the season thus far. So with that, we're so pumped to have her here. Hayden, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so the Broncos are cruising this season, boasting a perfect 15-0 record. They're after their first title since sharing the 5A crown with Parkview back in 2003. Currently ranked number 8 in the nation and number 3 in the state. Not only have we seen several shutouts from Bailey Gloss, the standout goalkeeper, but the Broncos' attack has been impeccable, boasting 27 total goals and an average of 2.8 per game. Leading the charge is Hayden. She is a 2-time 7A All-State selection, 2-time Region Midfielder of the Year, a national and world futsal champion, and a Division I soccer commit to Troy University. Hayden's averaging 2.2 goals per game with 11 total on the season thus far. We're pumped to have her on the show today. So Hayden, you guys have had quite the season, undefeated and a top 10 team in the nation. What have been the key factors behind Brookwood's success, especially on the offensive side of the ball?
So, what's it called? My younger sister, my younger cousin, Taylor Barnett and Skylar Soder, are also on the team. And, we've all grown up playing together, including Maddie Allen. So, we've all grown up together. So, it's kind of we've always kind of, had, a family, from the beginning. And now that, everyone is playing on the same team with, all the freshmen and sophomores coming up, it's, our chemistry is just amazing this year. And we've all played together for forever. So, it's been so helpful for the season.
I love that. So a couple of weeks ago, in one of your most high-stakes matches, you scored a hat trick against North Gwinnett in a 3-0 victory. How did it feel to lead your team to such an important victory?
Amazing. What's it called? Our team was so nervous, and so excited for the game because we really felt like that was gonna kind of show where we really stand in playoffs and everything. So it was amazing to get to score the 3 goals.
And they're another top 10 team. So with playoffs coming up and tougher teams ahead, how are you personally going to prepare for these big matchups, and how do you plan on making sure your team stays focused?
Personally, we just had spring break, and I ran at least 3 miles every day. I'm trying to stay in shape, and like I've been encouraging like the team to kind of do all these runs together too. And for the team, I'm just making sure we take practice serious, make sure like we do like a lot of fitness as well, because I think that's so important.
Right.
And like everyone's mindset like on like playoffs, and don't get like lose focus or anything. And I think that like mentality will really help.
Right. You guys have been riding this high, and the program hasn't won a title since 2003. So what would it mean to you to bring that trophy back to Brookwood, especially your senior season?
Amazing. And I really I've been so excited for this season since like my freshman year. And I really feel like this is the season that we can really do it too. And so it's like everyone's like dream.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Well, you're headed to Troy next year. You'll be playing in the Sun Belt Conference. What excites you most about playing soccer at the next level, and how has high school soccer kind of prepared you for that jump?
I'm really excited to like get to see like that like next level, and kind of like I'm excited to get to like work my way up to like getting playing time and all that. And I'm just really excited to get like also get in a new environment with it. And I love all the Troy coaches too. Like they're so supportive. So I'm really excited for that season, for next season. And this season, like high school, I think like all the pressure has kind of like, there's been a lot of pressure this season to win every game and to like get those goals. And so I feel like it's really like prepared me and gotten me like the right mindset to go into the college season.
Right, right. You've kind of adapted that competitive mindset that you need at the collegiate level. So I'm sure this is the best way to prepare to head to that next level. I know you're also an elite futsal player, and for those who don't know, futsal is very fast and technical. So how do you think playing futsal at such a high level has improved your overall game?
I think I think it's helped a lot like be more creative and like less like predictable when I play soccer, because it's in such a tight space and you have to play so fast that like your touch is so important. Like moving the ball fast and all that, like it really helps with the speed of play.
Right.
So I helped my game so much throughout the years.
That's awesome. And then my last question, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but if you had to describe this Brookwood team in one word, what would it be?
I think probably focus, because I think I would say focus because like everyone like especially before the North Gwinnett game, like normally like in the previous years like everyone's kind of joking around, like no one like really like focuses on the game, but like this season, like especially before North Gwinnett, everyone watched one of their games, everyone watched film on our team, we all took notes, we all like the couple days before was just getting like locked in for the game, like everyone like that, like even like that weekend, like our team like didn't really, we stayed in, like we were just so focused on like locking in for the game, and like it was just like amazing, like the mindset of it. And so I feel like that's like been such a huge thing for this season.
And that mindset will also be important as you approach the playoffs and kind of staying focused, eyes on the prize, right? All right, well, Hayden, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you being here, and we can't wait to keep up with you and the girls for the rest of the season. So best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, that's all we have for 6A soccer. We'll be back with more after the break.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Day. Remember, you can catch the show on the Letting News First app, also on the Peachtree Sports Network via YouTube TV, and on the CBS Sports local streaming app, Zeem. All right, time to get into the girls lacrosse rankings. Super excited to talk about it this week. Some movement, but not really too much, and the only reason for that is because, obviously, it was spring break, Craig. A lot of teams did not play, some did play, but let's go ahead and get started with Division I. The biggest results here, Craig, is going to be Wesleyan at number 4 of our rankings. They did obviously a phenomenal job this week. They went 1-1. They beat top-ranked Lambert in Division III, 14-10. Or they lost to top-ranked Lambert 14-10, but very competitive game that came down to the end. And then they picked up a win over Lovett, 13-6. So a really good week this past week, obviously, for the Wesleyan Lady Wolves. Also, big matchups this week. Blessed Trinity. You know, they're going to be a team to continue to watch. They've been impressive also so far. I moved up Alatuna up a spot, Craig, in this week's poll. And then I moved down Lovett and Marist, obviously, for their losses this past week.
Yeah, and Cambridge has been at the top. They obviously won last year. But you mentioned Wesleyan playing Lambert. Do you feel like in Division I, these teams are just very battle-tested? They've been going up against out-of-state schools, the Florida programs, and then out of spring break, you see a lot of them still scheduling very tough matchups.
100%. All right, let's go to Division II. All right, at Division II, you have Milton at the top, followed by Lassiter. Craig, I know you know obviously a lot about the program. And then Johns Creek, Chattahoochee, and then you obviously have Pope. Milton has been impressive so far, Craig. I really like their schedule and what they've been able to do. But they're going to face this week, this Thursday, they're going to face North Gwinnett, who is a top-ranked team, so that should be very impressive as well. And then last year also enjoyed an idle week, 5-game winning streak. The Lady Trojans will resume play this week against Kennesaw Mountain, and they're going to have Johns Creek facing up against Holy Innocents on Thursday as well. Chattahoochee and Pope, Craig, are going to meet for a top 5 ranked matchup as well on Thursday. And then you have Lakeside Evans and Decatur with some big-time matchups also this week. And McIntosh will face against Stars Mill on Thursday night as well.
Yeah, and you can't disagree with the rankings right here. You see number 1, Milton, number 2, Lassiter. They have played this year, but that game was at Milton. Milton was able to win 18-8. Lassiter played that game right after having to go up against West Forsyth. They haven't lost since. So Lassiter's been undefeated at home this year. They've been playing very well. They got Lacey Sherholtz as their attackers, one of the highest scoring attacks in the state. And you look at this Lassiter team, they're averaging about 15 goals a game. So they want to play that fast pace. It's going to be tough against these teams like Milton and West Forsyth that can make it a more defensive game. But I feel like they look really strong right now, Lassiter does. And they have an intriguing matchup coming up against Walton, who we'll get to in a sec. But Walton's still undefeated. I think that'll be an interesting matchup. Kind of a rivalry game, very familiar, but who's going to come out of that one, I think will tell a lot just about how strong each of these divisions are.
100%. And then, Craig, I want you to elaborate. You brought up a great player for last year, 11-4 this year. They've been impressive so far. I still have them ahead of Johns Creek, who's been a really good team this year as well. But Lacey Sherholtz, I mean, she's been great throughout her career. Just can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, and she's meant a lot to the program so far. She is committed to play at East Carolina. She'll be a Pirate at the next level. She's been committed since early signing day, I believe. But yeah, she's a goal scorer that had over 50 goals last season, leading a great Lassiter team. But then she's also able to assist her teammates, and she just plays at such a fast pace. And once again, if you look at Lassiter's schedule, I think it's probably one of the toughest in the in the entire state this year. They've had some huge results that I know have impacted your rankings. I think one of them was what they did against BT, 21-5 victory.
Yes.
17-4 over Creekview. The only slow stretch was that back-to-back with West Forsyth and Milton, but since then it looks like they've made some adjustments, and once again that Lassiter Walton matchup coming up will be a great one.
100% agree. And then last thing on Division II, I think it's going to be interesting to see just what team emerges as kind of that contender against Milton in Division II, right? You have obviously Johns Creek's had a really good year. They're going to make the postseason this year after not making it. Had a hot start last year, 7-0. Then you have Lassiter with everything they can do offensively. Obviously talked about Lacey Sherholtz. Also have a really good back end that nobody talks about. And then Chattahoochee and Pope, top 5 teams, are going to match up this week. It will have a lot to do with the rankings. So that's going to be something else to kind of watch this week.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to Division III. I still love West Forsyth at number 1. They've continued to be impressive. They added another impressive win to its resume. They ended up defeating Lambert 6-5, who was my number 5 team in the rankings. A tightly contested matchup, but came out on top. Walton had an idle week this week, so they did not play. Cherokee suffered just his second loss of the season after falling to South Forsyth. North Gwinnett had an idle week, and Lambert fell to top ranked, as we talked about West Forsyth in this one. North Gwinnett and Lambert will be the game to watch. Obviously, this upcoming week, as they both face off against each other, a top 5 ranked matchup between 2 really good opponents. And then to round it out, Brookwood, Alpharetta, Marietta, Carrollton. Not too much changes here, but that is the latest in the Division III poll.
Yep, and you've talked about Lambert, who played West very closely. North Gwinnett, another great team. Cherokee at number 3, Walton was able to get a big win over them in the region, but you have this Walton team that's still undefeated. Their last state title came in 2016 over Milton. I was actually at that game, very excited, but this is clearly one of the best seasons Walton has had, and I feel like them knowing that Milton's not in this division, it could be theirs to lose. I still think West Forsyth just wins over teams like Cambridge. They have shown that they probably deserve this number 1 ranking, but I think it's going to be really exciting what Walton's able to do, especially they go into the playoffs still unbeaten.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Craig. I've been grappling back and forth with the West Forsyth Walton, but just kind of my analysis on it, just like you said, just those key pivotal wins, out-of-state victories as well, played a tougher schedule, so that one kind of loss or that loss that they've had was out of state. So I just feel really good about them collectively as a team, a little bit better strength of schedule. But Walton has been impressive. And like we said, and we've been seeing the past few weeks, Craig, Division III is wide open, right? There's no Milton in here. You got North Gwinnett doing their thing, Lambert doing their thing. Anybody could win. So if Walton can get on a hot streak, they could be a team we see in the state championship, maybe going up against a West Forsyth to see who wins that first ever title.
Absolutely. And, I mean, coaching will be huge. The thing is, even though you have West Forsyth, Walton, a lot of the teams haven't faced this season, so it might be a first matchup between them. To me, I mean, all eyes to me are on Walton this next week. How are they going to close out? Not only do they have the big matchup, it's at Lassiter. Lassiter hasn't been beaten at home. They're going to close out the season with Johns Creek right after it, another big matchup. They're going to be in separate divisions. And then Milton for the season finale, another one. That is 3 just brutal games to prepare them for the playoffs. If they go 2-3, I'd be impressed. If they run the table, they're going to be playing with a lot of momentum.
And I'm not gonna lie, that's must-see TV. That final game against Milton, that's not too far up the road from obviously West Forsyth. I think that's going to be super exciting to see. And then if you can challenge Milton, who do have a couple losses, they did have that first in-state loss in over 5 years, and then the out-of-state loss. But if you can go and challenge and beat Milton, who you lost to last year, I mean, I think you solidified yourself as the team to beat in Division III.
Yep, and then this is also one of those rare years. You mentioned Cambridge beating Walton, one of the first in-state teams to beat them for a long time.
Yes.
And all that does is add fuel to the fire, gets them even more focused.
100%. Well, guys, it's going to conclude our girls lacrosse rankings, and it's going to conclude the show for today. We'll have more coming up tomorrow. We've got a special segment in store for you guys. We'll talk about it more tomorrow, but DeKalb County, if you guys liked our tier system, then we're going to do DeKalb County tomorrow. So make sure you guys tap in and tune in for that tomorrow at 12 p.m. on the Peachtree Sports Network. We'll see you guys then.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions,
Safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Beginning the morning you opened your eyes, we spent every waking moment preparing you for the day you'd leave our nest. Whether it's driving to practice or helping with homework, it's all prepared you for, what am I going to be when I grow up? Will you be ready?
After much thought, I made my decision to take my talents to the IBEW Local 613.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is not simply a job, it's a career. Visit IBEW613.org to begin a new future today.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Are you interested in becoming a deputy or a jailer? The Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office is hiring and looking for individuals passionate about protecting and serving their community. If you are 18 years or older, join our team by visiting gogcso.com for more information. Gwinnett County, together, we can make a difference.